Hi everybody, I hope you're having a great day. Today we are going to start the next lesson in inequalities, which is solving one-step inequalities. So hopefully you have the guided notes in front of you. It should be a yellow piece of paper. I will take my time going through these notes, but I would just like you guys to write down everything that I do. If you have questions, you can always email myself or Miss Leister as well. But yeah, we're going to hop right into it. So for solving one-step inequalities, it is virtually the same exact way as solving equations. Just instead of an equal sign, there's going to be an inequality. There's going to be a less than, greater than, less than or equal to, or greater than or equal to sign involved. So your goal, just like before, is to isolate the variable. Get the variable by itself. Get P by itself, get C by itself. That's the goal. When you only have addition or subtraction in the inequality, you solve the inequality just like you would an equation. When solving one-step inequalities, think about what is happening to the variable and what is the inverse operation. How do we undo it? Once you've solved the inequality, you will also need to graph your solution. So the first question we got is P plus 8 is less than or equal to negative 4. So the only difference between this and an equation is that instead of an equal sign, we have the less than or equal to sign involved. So up top here in this little space, I'm just going to write P plus 8 equals negative 4. Okay? The only difference between this and my inequality is the equal sign. I'm pretty confident by now that all of you would be able to solve this equation. Right, our inverse operation would be subtracting 8 from both sides. So we would get P equals negative 12. Well, all we did to solve this was we subtracted 8 from both sides. Negative 4 minus negative 8 is negative 12. We're going to do the same thing for this problem. We're going to start by subtracting 8 from both sides. And it's going to leave us with a P is less than or equal to negative 12. And that's the answer. P has to be anything that is less than or equal to negative 12. Our next step is then to graph the solution. Okay, the first step for graphing solutions or graphing inequalities is to look for the boundary point, which in this case is negative 12. So I'm going to have some point at negative 12. We just now need to decide if negative 12 will be a part of the solution. Well, if it's less than or equal to, negative 12 can be a part of my answer, so I'm going to put a closed circle. The shortcut for knowing whether you need a closed circle or an open circle is looking at the sign. If you ever have an equal to sign, a little bar underneath, it's going to be a closed circle. If there's no equal to sign, it's an open circle. Now to graph, we need to pick a number on this number line and plug it in for P. So for example, if I pick the number, I don't know, negative 15, okay, we need to think to ourselves, is negative 15 less than or equal to negative 12? Well, that answer is yes, so we're going to shade in towards negative 15, meaning everything that's less than negative 12 is going to be an answer. A shortcut, which does not always work, but works sometimes, for knowing which way to shade, is that if your variable comes first, like it does here, if your variable comes first, you can shade in the direction of the arrow. All right, the arrow is pointing to the left, so we can shade to the left. That only works if the variable comes first. Okay. Moving on to number 2. 13 is greater than C minus 6. Well, if I was solving this like an equation, my first step would be getting rid of the minus 6. So I'm going to add 6 to both sides. 13 plus 6 is 19. So I get 19 is greater than C. Okay? So our boundary point is 19. So I need a dot at 19. It is greater than, not greater than or equal to, so I need an open circle at 19. And then I need to pick a value for C. So on this number line, if I pick, I don't know, let's say 21, is 19 greater than 21? Obviously, it is not, so I'm going to shade in the opposite direction than 21. Add everything to the left. This is an example where your variable does not come first. So notice the direction that I shaded is not in the direction of the arrow. I gotta be careful of that. You can only shade in the direction of the arrow if the variable comes first. Another way of writing 19 is greater than C is you could rewrite it, but then it would be C is less than 19. If you're going to move the variable, you got to flip the sign. And now the variable is first, and now the arrow goes in the direction. All right. Number 3, negative 3 plus V is greater than negative 9. To undo the negative 3, we add 3 to both sides. It's going to leave me with a V is greater than negative 6. Which means my boundary point is at negative 6, so I need a circle at negative 6. It's greater than negative 6, meaning it can't be negative 6, so we use an open circle at negative 6. Pick another number in the number line. If I pick negative 3, for example, I need to think to myself, is negative 3 greater than negative 6? Yes. Yes, it is. So I'm going to shade to the right. I'm going to shade towards my negative 3. Number 4, we have m minus negative 2. So a little bit of a tricky question. A lot of people want to immediately add 2 to both sides because they see the minus signs. But I know Mr. Metelsky taught you what subtracting a negative really is. When you subtract a negative, it's the same as adding positive. We did that back in unit 3, I believe. So really, this is the same as m plus 2 is greater than or equal to 5. So to solve it, I'm going to subtract 2 from both sides. I'm going to get m is greater than or equal to 3. My boundary point is at 3, so that's where I'm going to start. M has to be greater than or equal to 3, so 3 is a part of my solution set. It's a part of my answer, so I'm going to use a closed circle. And I'm going to shade everything greater than 3. Everything to the right of 3. Awesome. Hopefully this is starting to make sense. Hopefully it's not too boring for you. We got 3 more examples left, 3 word problems just to talk about. Now these word problems, we're going to use some test-taking skills to figure these out. They're multiple choice questions, so we're going to eliminate the ones that don't make sense. Okay? So let's start off number 5. A shuttle bus to the Willow Creek Mall has enough seats for 21 people to ride. Right there, we actually given a lot of information. Okay, we know there's enough seats for 21 people to ride. So we think to ourselves, can 22 people ride? No, there's not enough room for 22 people, but there is enough room for 19 people. So in my inequality, I can eliminate the ones that are greater than. Well, the only inequality that has a greater than sign is B, so I know it can't be B. Now, whatever my answer is, it's going to have to be less than 21. The next thing I can think about is that the only difference between A and C is that A has an equal to sign in it, C does not. So the next thing I should think about is, can I have 21 people? Okay, a shuttle bus to Willow Creek Mall has enough seats for 21 people. That means 21 people can ride the bus, so it can't be C. Your correct answer would be A. To solve the inequality, we would subtract 12 from both sides, and we'd get, right in a room here, I'll write it off to the side, x is less than or equal to 9. So up to 9 more people can ride the bus. Our last step is then to graph the solution. So we have a number line down here. So I'm just going to create a number line. I need to make sure 9 is in my number line. So I'm going to use, I don't know, we'll say 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. I know my inequality is that x has to be less than or equal to 9. So I'm going to use a closed dot at 9 and shade to the left. All right, flip the paper over. Number 6. Reggie has picked out 4 shirts from his closet to donate. He still has more than 15 shirts left in his closet, so he thinks he should donate some more. Let x represent how many shirts were in Reggie's closet to start, which inequality describes the problem. Well, we know that he has to have more than 15 shirts, so we can eliminate B, because B has a greater than or equal to shirt, or greater than or equal to sign in it. We know it just has to be an equal to sign. It also tells us that Reggie has picked out 4 shirts in his closet and is going to donate them. Okay, if you're donating clothing, you're not getting new clothing, right? You're losing that clothing. You're giving it away. So would we be adding 4 or would we be subtracting 4? The answer is going to be A, x minus 4. Solve the inequality, then complete the sentence and describe the solution. So to solve it, we would add 4 to both sides. And our new inequality would be x is greater than 19. So there were more than 19 shirts in Reggie's closet to start. When we create our number line, we just have to make sure we include 19 in our number line. So we're going to start off with 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. I know x has to be greater than 19, so I'm going to use an open circle at 19 and shade to the right. Awesome. Last question. Circle your choice. Which statement can be modeled by x plus 3 is less than or equal to 12? All right. Well, we're kind of working backwards for this question. This time I'm giving you an inequality. We need to find the situation that matches. So starting off with the first situation, Sam has 3 bottles of water. Together, Sam and Dave have at most 12 bottles of water. Meaning they have at most 12 means they can't have over 12. It has to be less than 12 or equal to 12. So the first situation could work. It's a possibility. So I'm going to circle 1 as a possibility. Let's go on and try number 2. Jenny sold 3 cookbooks to earn a prize. Jenny must sell at least 12 cookbooks. Well, if she needs to sell at least 12, that means she needs to sell over 12. So we know it can't be 2. 3, Peter has 3 baseball hats. Peter and his brother have fewer than 12 hats. Well, if he has fewer than 12 hats, it means he can't have 12 hats. This has an equal to sign, so I know it can't be 3. And number 4, Kathy swam 3 laps in a pool this week. She must swim more than 12 laps. Well, that means it has to be greater than 12. I have a less than or equal to sign, so it can't be 4. There you have it. 1 is your answer.